And these old style sales letters, they are just not very effective, and their effectiveness keeps on dropping off. So let's just say that's it's a 10-page sales letter. Now, I want to show you the sideways sales letter, and this is where we go sideways. This is the big innovation that I brought to the market that it literally changed marketing. I mean, it changed the way we sold stuff. And so instead of thinking about a 10-page, so this is a 10-page sales letter that's 10 pages long, think about it as a 10-day process, a 10-day launch. And so here we go. Let's just pretend I drew that right. There's actually 10 lines down there. And what we would do is we would release 3 pieces of content. And so they're what we call PLC, that's pre-launch content, PLC 1, 2, and 3. So we've got a video here. They don't have to be videos. These days we tend to use videos because they're just so effective. But these could actually be blog posts, they could be emails. And I'm going to, in the next video, I'm going to be teaching you some of the different styles of launches that we have, including the seed launch. Seed launch is awesome because it's how you can launch when you have no list and no product. It's pretty cool. And often in the seed launch, we're not using videos. We might just be using emails. But let's just go standard style, and it's 3 videos. And you release that first video, and then maybe 3 days later, you release the second video. 3 days later, you release that third video. And you're doing something similar to what you do with the sales letter, but instead of, and this is, remember I told you there was these broken launches. And in these broken launches, what people do is they go literal with that sales letter. They take the sales letter and they split it into 3 pieces. And then they're just given this long 10-day sales letter. And the problem is they don't create any value. What you want to do is you want to be creating real value as you move through these videos. So this first video is often, it's all about the journey. It's where you show people the opportunity they can have to change their life, that they can learn to play the guitar, that they can learn to play songs. So you show them that opportunity for the transformation, and then you show them what that journey will be like. All along the way, you're teaching, you're giving real value. Then in the second video, it's the transformation video. That's where you make the transformation real. Oftentimes, you'll have like case studies in here, and you'll show them how they can really have that transformation. And in the third video, it's what we call the ownership experience. And this is where you start to pivot towards making that sale. You start to make that pivot. You show them what it's actually like to own your product and really have that change. So again, in those broken videos, what they do is they just do like this, remember that problem, agitate, solve? They'll do this problem, agitate, and then solve here. What comes at the end is your sales video or sales letter. And you have that payoff at the end. So it's the 3 pieces of pre-launch content leading into that. Well, the broken launch is what they'll do is they'll define your problem for you, and then they'll get you all agitated about it. And then for the solution, it's buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And it's back to being that, like that old style sales letter. It's when people come into your old style sales letter, it's like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And it doesn't work these days. What works these days is a conversation. I'll get to that in just a minute. But instead of doing this one-time problem, agitate, solve, what we'll do in a launch here is we'll define a problem in this first piece of pre-launch content. We'll define the problem, and then we'll actually give the solution in that first piece of pre-launch content. And then towards the end of it, we'll define another problem, okay? And then in that second piece, we'll solve that problem. You see what we're doing here is we're building up trust here. We're building up relationship. We're building up rapport. Then in that second video, at the end of it, we could define another problem, and we actually go ahead and we solve that problem again. And then at the end, we define another problem. And at that point, the solution is to buy my stuff. So what we've done is we've gone through this cycle, and we've actually defined either 2 or 3 different problems, and through our pre-launch, we've actually solved those problems. So we are giving real content, we're creating real value. You know, those launches where it's just one big, here's your problem, and then get them all worked up, and then give the solution is buy my stuff, that creates this value vacuum. It's this complete vacuum of value. There is no value whatsoever, and that's how you break a launch. You know, a lot of times people, since there are so many launches, since it's so effective, since so many people use this, they're just like, oh, I know, I'm going to do a launch. I'm just going to create 3 videos. And they create 3 videos that create no value. And then they just think that they're magically going to do a launch. And it's going to be great. That doesn't work. Another thing that doesn't work is just throwing out 3 random videos. Like, well, I had this video I shot 2 years ago, and I got this video, you know, I shot last week, and I could throw together one more video, and I'll just like, boom, throw out some videos, and then a sales video, and it wins. It doesn't. You have to create this big, you know, this journey throughout this whole path where you're showing the transformation, where you're continually building value, where you're defining a problem and you're solving it. Define a problem, then solve it, and move through it this way. Okay, so there's one more thing I want to layer in here that really makes this whole strategy pop, and that's the mental triggers. So this is the deal. There are certain triggers that create enormous influence in us, in our brains, that cause us to make decisions, that really cause us to take actions. And these mental triggers, they exist in every one of us. And they have been with us as humans for thousands of years, and it's very likely they'll be with us for thousands of years. So no matter who you are, where you live in the world, these mental triggers definitely have an impact on you and your decision-making, and me and my decision-making. We're all susceptible to these triggers. So let me just go through a few of them. I've actually got 20 of these that I have identified, but I don't have time to go through all 20 in this video. So let's just go through a few of the top ones. So first of all is community. Community is a very powerful trigger, and it's like if we perceive ourselves as being part of a community, we will act in accordance to how we think the people in that community are supposed to act. Really powerful. Another one is anticipation. And this is the idea, almost like where we anticipate something happening, anticipating events. If you think about how powerful events are, you know, like birthdays or graduations or holidays, how we look forward to those. Think about the way TV is, especially like almost any TV shows, they have these cliffhangers at the end of the show that leave you anticipating and pull you in for the next show. Even the most basic sitcoms now use anticipation. Then there's authority. Authority is an incredibly powerful trigger. It's a great one to use in your launches. And it's the launch process really brings out the authority. It's one of the most powerful. And that's basically when we perceive someone as being an authority, we listen to them. They are very influential. I mean, almost any type of uniform, like a police officer, a doctor, whatever, that creates authority. It's very, very powerful. Reciprocity is another great trigger. And that's the idea of if we give something to someone, they're going to feel an obligation to give something back to us. And it works the other way around. So if you give a gift to someone, they're going to feel like they want to give a gift back to you. Or if someone gives you a gift, you're going to want to feel like you need to give them a gift back. Then there's social proof. And this is the idea where if we see a lot of other people doing something, then we're going to think, well, maybe there's something there, and we're going to be more inclined to do that as well. And then finally, there's scarcity. Scarcity is just like if there is less of something, then we want it more. You know, I mean, if it's gold, diamonds, Ferraris, whatever, just the fact that there's fewer of something instantly raises that value and gets us more interested. So, I mean, those triggers, like I said, they're everywhere in our lives. They work everywhere in their lives. But I want to talk about how you can take these and layer them into your launch. So here we've got, again, we've got our sideways sales letter. We've got our PS path there where we're just providing great value. We're defining their problems, giving them solutions to their problems, building this relationship. But one of the things is right off the bat, when we give some great value, and that's what I want you to do in your launch is give great value, give some of your best content away in that very first piece, you instantly create this authority.